My wish.
Jai Baba. Yeah.
Ashok, do you want to read? Or Sanjay, anyone?
Yeah, I'll read. Let me read. Yeah. My wish. The lover has to keep the wish of the beloved. My wish for my lovers is as follows. Do not shirk your responsibilities. Attend faithfully to your worldly duties. Always at the back of your mind that all this is Baba's. When you feel happy, think Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think Baba to suffer. Be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely, Baba has placed me in this situation. With the understanding that Baba is in everyone, try to help and serve others. I say with my divine authority, each and all, that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last comes to me. So do not forget to remember me in your last moments. Unless you start remembering me from now on, it will be difficult to remember me when your end approaches. You should start practicing from now on. Even if you take my name only once every day, you will not forget to remember me in your dying moments. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. He has made it so easy for us. Take my name only once every day. That's enough. Even that is enough. With all our heart. I think that's the caveat. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Yes, Sanjay ji.
You have the copper pass, you have the bronze pass, you have the gold silver pass, and then you finally have the golden pass. Number 6 is the golden pass.
Mm.
So it's for those of us who are lazy, for those of us who are you know, we want an easy pass in life. He's given us the easy pass. Oh, by the way, Easy Pass is a brand
Yeah.
in the
Is a
US.
brand.
Helping others. I think Baba has stressed in several of his messages. Helping others is something that we should keep in mind. Serve others. Serve me in everyone. Love me in each other. That's the message. Right? So that's how simple.
Indeed.
Jai
Indeed.
Yeah,
Baba.
it's Jai Baba.
Begin.
It's a beautiful message, and it's about moving from duality to reality in the sense that it says, do not shirk your responsibilities. And in the end, he says, you remember me. So, I mean, he's asking us to meet our responsibilities as well as, um, you know, as well as remember him at least once in a day.
Yeah, yeah. I think we should think that all the responsibilities that have been given to us are given by him. That will make it easy for us to
Mhm.
discharge them faithfully. Yeah. Yeah. Baba.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yesterday I was talking about this thing. When I was young in Vijayawada, there used to be one gentleman. His name was Kakatapatte Bhavanaran, a very, very rich man. And he used to come regularly to Meher Baba functions. And there are also other people who are very close, in 60s I'm talking about, very close to Baba. Baba used to call them for everything from Vijayawada. They were representing these kind of people, like 3 or 4 people, especially 4 people. Baba used to call them. When this gentleman was dying, because he's a Baba lover and very prominent rich man in Vijayawada, so all these Baba lovers got together in the last moments. And they were saying, helping him to say, Baba, say Baba, Baba. And guess what that old man was saying? He was like 87, 85, something like that when he was dying. He started saying, Spade Queen, Heart, Heart. The card names he started saying, and that's how he died, you know? So I mean, I don't mean to make it funny, but we also need Baba's help to help us to remember him at the time of the death. But if we practice, every day we die, right? When we go to sleep, we die. We temporarily die, and we wake up in the morning and we remember. But in the actual death, same thing. However way we slip into the sleep, that's how we slip into the death also. And we don't know what's happening later on. But next thing we know is, as a child, and sometime, around 7 or 8 years, we'll get to know what we are and all that, stuff. But every night before going to sleep, if we try to practice remembering Baba, that would help us a great deal. Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, to add to what Ravi says, see, you're right. Every night we become unconscious, and if we wake up in the same body, it's okay. We are just gone to sleep and deep sleep. And if you go to sleep and wake up in another body, then or if you die, I mean, if you have a physical death. So yeah, that's true, but we'll also have to understand the subtle difference. And we wake up in another body, so the soul remains eternal, but it changes
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. I mean, many of us will remember at the time that I'm dying, at that moment, what can we do? That comes anyway. But if you can remember to remember Baba, we can remember to remember Baba. With his help, we can remember him. He has to help us to remember him.
Yes.
Because Baba said at the time of the death, a lot of commotion happens, a lot of energy that happens because change of the whole thing, right? A lot of commotion happens. So we need divine help. So every day when we sleep, we remember him wholeheartedly. That matters. See, Baba even said, remember Gandhi died at the time of the death. They say he said the name of the Rama. And do you know what Baba said? Baba said he was saying with a pity on God's sake, with a feeling, oh, fool, what did you do? With that feeling, he died, saying the Rama's name. And Baba said, that's not how it should be. Wholehearted feeling of God. That's how we should remember him. Jai Baba.
Interesting. Anyway, I think my personal opinion is it's a very loaded pass. It's a pass for sure, but I think it's a very loaded pass. To extend what Ravi said, it's not just about thinking about Baba at just before going to bed or when you get up first thing in the morning. It's about making it a natural part of your life to a point where you not just believe in the academic reality of Baba, but recognize and sustain the fact that Baba is your innermost loving self or your own self to a degree where, like I said, it becomes natural. So when you are even in that commotion state or whatever state that is obviously once in a lifetime, once in this bodily lifetime, in that commotion or in that complex state that is unprecedented because we do not know what happens, we naturally think of Baba. That's the outcome. That's the way I would look at it. But anyway, I think the importance Baba has given to remembering him multiple times is not to be trivialized. It's obviously with a lot of uh, thought that instruction has been given, right? And it's not easy, right? We need as many tools, as many mechanisms, as many reminders, even for the deepest lovers, because Maya and the fact that we recognize reality with what we see, we are always attracted and confused, not confused, attracted and in this state of the alternate reality, which is really not our reality with a big R. Anyway, quite an interesting discussion even to start our morning. So we have finished.
Karthik, I would like to take one more point, which
Sure.
was very big surprise for me. See, when you read that, would you mind bringing that wish, if you don't mind?
Sure. Sure.
See here. Okay. I say with my divine authority to each and all, whosoever takes my name at the time of the breathing his last comes to me. So what does come to me means? You have any idea?
Good question. Minimum ordinary mukti.
That's what
I would make of
yeah,
that. I would make of that, but it could be
yeah,
God realization. It could be anything.
anything, right?
Yeah.
That's what I used to think too.
Hmm.
But I was listening to either Urich or Bao Culturist talk, and that thing surprised me. So
Mhm.
once either Bao Culture or Urich in Mandley Hall talks, they got thousands of talks. Whenever I exercise every day, I listen to one of them. I don't keep track of which one it is, something like that. But one of the talks he was talking was, I think, Bao Culture. Okay. In one of the summer, Baba invited so many children, so many Baba lovers families, and they all came. They all came with the children, and in the big hall. And Baba said, "Leave all the children. Some are crawling, some are running, some are, very very small babies." You know what Baba commented? That's really surprised me. All these children were remembering me in their previous life at the time of the death. See that.
Wow.
That changed my meaning of who remembers at the time the death comes to me. That thing. So it means not only realization, not only getting mukti, but also if we are not ready for that mukti, but we can become close to Baba, close to God. Yeah, whoever is the perfect master. That's what made me think.
So the corollary is that we remembered God in our
Mm.
previous lives while dying.
Mm.
So that's why Baba has brought us close to Him. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have the fruits of the good karmas
Last.
and His blessings. And His blessings,
mm.
yeah. Jai Baba.
Yeah,
His compassion, more, I think that's a better word. Yeah, Jai Baba.
yeah, yeah. Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, I just want to add, Ravi, the interesting question. I think it has to be when you take Baba's name, when remembering him, and the last has to be with absolute and pure faith and conviction. I mean,
Mm.
it's not just taking his name like as Karthik said, academically or just less rata marna nahi hai, but it's not just saying it just for the sake of saying it, but you say it with conviction, and hope Baba gives us all the strength
Yeah.
that.
So it's the wholehearted remembrance. See,
Like the
Yeah, full
Gandhi
heart.
Baba used
That's
example.
to.
what-
See, that's the thing. Baba used to send telegrams to our family. Whenever my father used to write, and Baba used to send telegrams. My sister had a baby. and my brother had a job, something like that. Baba, he used to write a letter, and Baba used to send a telegram. When my sister's son was born, my love blessings to the baby, Bani baby. And then he always used to add, remember me wholeheartedly and constantly. Meher Baba. I mean, Adi Kairani used to send out this, but his signature was there, and remember me wholeheartedly and constantly. That was the message he used to add in those telegrams. Jai Baba.
Lucky you that you got these messages directly from Baba. On that low note, let's dive into
Yeah.
the book.
We're
What was
all lucky, right? Everybody's lucky. Whoever is in love with Baba, they're all lucky. We never know who is in what stage. You never know.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so like we were seeing in Trello, we finished 8 sessions till now. We have finished almost 60-70% of the book. So that's where we are. So let's start with chapter 19. Who wants to start by reading?
I'll start.
Sure. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai, Gift of God, Chapter 19. My work is the conscious realization of myself in all creation. I alone do my work, but I allow you, my close ones, to work for me so you have the opportunity to use your talents and capabilities selflessly so as to draw closer to me. I'll read that once again if you it's very profound. My work is the conscious realization of myself in all creation. I alone do my work, but I allow you, my close ones, to work for me so you have the opportunity to use your talents and capabilities selflessly so as to draw closer to me. Meher Baba.
The prayer that he adds
Okay.
us or pulls us into whatever tasks.
Yeah.
I am
The
very
key
moved
word
by
here.
this all the time.
Yeah. The key word is allow. Allow you.
Yeah,
So we should
exactly.
never take pride in anything that we are doing. Yeah. Yeah, Baba.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
During Baba's days at Guru Prasad, several important events concerning both my family and Nariman's took place. My family had always consulted Baba before making any important decision, and when my brother Dara wanted to marry Feni, the woman he loved, he explained to her that he obeyed Baba in everything and he could not marry her without Baba's consent. Dara also told her that while he would not push Baba on her, she would have to respect him and allow Dara to continue his relationship with him. Feni agreed. When Baba was giving darshan at Guru Prasad, Dara asked Feni to go with him to meet Baba and ask his approval. Feni was naturally very nervous, knowing that Dara would abide by whatever decision Baba gave him. I was there when they arrived for darshan, and I told Baba that Dara had brought the woman he wanted to marry. Baba called them both in to see him, and after Dara had introduced Feni, Baba picked up two sheets of wrapped in paper. I'm sorry. Baba called them both to see him, and after Dara had introduced Feni, Baba picked up two sweets wrapped in paper. He unwrapped both, giving one to Dara and one to Feni, thus giving his consent to their engagement. Although Feni's family had some reservations about Baba, they liked Dara and agreed to the match. After a short time, Dara and Feni were married. During the 1960s, Baba also performed several more family Navjots at Guru Prasad. Just as he had agreed, just as he had gradually led us to give up the traditional ceremonies for the dead, Baba brought us over the years to give up the rituals ordinarily performed by a Zoroastrian priest during his elaborate ceremony. In their early days with Baba, my parents had never imagined that he might perform a Navjot. Then back in 1938, Baba had said that he himself would put the sadras and kushtis on my brothers Huma and Dara himself. Although he had told my parents to have the usual ceremonies performed by a priest in Bombay. At that time, it would have been difficult for my family, especially my younger brothers, to explain to friends and relatives why the traditional ceremonies had not taken place. But 20 years later, Baba was regularly performing Navjos for our family and others without any ceremonies. At each of the Navjots at Guru Prasad, he stressed the importance of becoming free from bindings of religious rituals. In 1960, at the Navjot for Rhoda and Jim's sons, Meherwan, Sarosh, and Flamrose, Baba gave the following message: May Ahurmazd, Zoroaster, and Meher Baba free you from the superfluous binding of Shaliyat, religious ceremony, and help you to lead a life of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, and bestow you the grace of loving me. I have given you this emblem of superficial binding to make you free from this binding and give you the real binding of love. 3 years later, at the Navjot for Armaiti, the daughter of Nariman's brother Behram, Baba said, unless we free ourselves from the binding of ceremonies and begin to love God as He should be loved, we can never know the truth. I think, Karthik, this is worth highlighting.
I thought this line was very good. I have given you this emblem of superficial binding to make you free from this binding and give you the real binding of love. I'm reminded of Peter Nordin, who my friend recently reminded me to listen to Peter Nordin's talk on the war, right? Wars and the Avatar. And I listened to it last week again. There he makes this point, Peter, that sooner or later there is going to be some sort of a religion that emerges post this avataric advent. And Baba has also, in his enormous wisdom, already gifted us some rituals. Can you think of a few? Anybody? What are the rituals Baba has already gifted us?
Saying Baba's Pravartikar and repentance prayers.
Correct. Dhuni, right?
Dhuni.
And things like that have already happened. So he says, and it's Peter's words, that probably sooner or later we'll become a little more structured and get somebody will start something with more of religion around this. And I think that's when I was thinking, Baba's given so many words to warn us against this, and I'm so deeply reminded of that when I'm reading this. Right, he's making sure that he either defers, that is, postpones that happening, or avoids it altogether. But human nature and the illusory nature of our lives is that greed and this vested interest of trying to control people will get the better of us, get the better of a few of us, where we'll force the rest to follow this rigor of a religion and get to the definitive mode of, hey, this is how it should be, and lose the core message of loving him, right? So anyway, that's just a small thought that I had.
Just to add to that, Karthik, avatars have come how many times? 25 times or 42 times? One of this number. But at least we remember last 7 avatars from
Correct.
Zoroaster to I mean, every time Avatar comes, people who are in their perimeter, they were using love and everything, you know. And what happens over times? They become rituals and things become mechanical. Even though Baba is insisting so much on love, 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 Christ also insisted on love, and it becomes a bad back burner later on. And then again, Avatar has to come and again rekindle that love again, and it's a process, I think, process.
Yeah.
But every
And
time, so many number of people souls will get absorbed, and others will be waiting. The next incarnation, Avatar's incarnation, they get absorbed. The process goes on, right? Yeah.
yep,
Baba's
indeed.
words impressed Meherwan and Sarosh so deeply that both refused to go through the traditional marriage ceremony performed by a priest. Meherwan and his wife Zenobia were married in a civil ceremony in 1975. Then in 1982, when Sarosh and Mehruk, the daughter of Nariman's brother Hoshang, were married, they bowed down together and put rings on one another's fingers at Baba's Samadhi. After signing the civil register in Nagar, they celebrated this happy occasion in Mehrazad with Mehra and the Mandli. In 1984, when Merwan and, and Zenobia expressed their wish that Baba's beloved Mehra perform the Navjot for their three children, Rabia, Ayat, and Jamshed, Mehra happily agreed.
There's Baba and there's Arnawaz, I think, and Baba with Arnawaz, Rhoda, and Nargis. So this is Rhoda and this is Nargis. And the kids that are getting their Navjot, I think Rhoda and Jim's sons, Mervan, Ramrose, and Sarosh. And this Ramrose is, I think, the current Falu.
Trust.
The
Yeah.
yeah. And I think there is a clear uh, resemblance as well. Yeah, from
Yeah.
Rose, Falu,
I
Falu.
think
Yeah,
one of the sons. Can you go back, Karthik? One of the sons lives here. He was a surgeon, retired surgeon. He lives in Philadelphia, in U.S.
yes,
Who
you're
is
right.
that? Who
Actually,
is that?
yeah. I think it's Merwan.
Mervan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mervan,
it's
Mervan,
Meron.
Mervan.
Meron,
I
that's true.
saw videos yeah, of Mervan. You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It was
But
also
he's retired now. He has been
They
correct.
retired.
retired for
Yeah.
many
Yeah,
years.
senior, fairly senior. Yes, yes. I saw a 10-year-old video, but he was already quite aged. Maybe he's retired now. Yeah, senior. Yes. Hi, Mahu. Hi, Praveen.
Hi,
Jai
Jay
Baba.
Baba.
Hey Baba.
Yeah,
Shall I continue or
yeah. Please, please.
yeah, yeah. It was also during the Guru Prasad days that Nariman's family came to love and revere Baba. When he first lived at Ashiana, most of his family had little interest. Although they came to see Baba a few times, they did so mostly to please Nariman. In 1948, when Nariman's youngest brother Hoshang was 18 years old, I had needed a second driver to bring Baba. Nariman and quite a few of men Mandli from the railway station in Bombay to our apartment. I decided to give Hoshang the opportunity to drive Baba in hopes that his contact might spark his interest. When Baba arrived, he embraced me and we sat in the living room while the men were busy bringing the luggage from the car. Baba said, "Tell me about Hoshang." When I told him that Hoshang was a very sweet boy, Baba smiled and said, "He is all mine. When the time is right, he will come to me like this." and he snapped his fingers. From then on, I realized the importance of Baba's timing. Baba draws new lovers to himself in his time, not ours. And it was 12 years more, sorry, and it was 12 more years before Nariman's whole family, his mother, his brother, their wives, and even their wives' families had come to Baba. One morning, while the woman Mandali and I were having breakfast with Baba in Guru Prasad, my thoughts kept returning to Nariman's family, who were having some difficulties. I had been trying to help them by talking about Baba and encouraging them to come for his darshan. Although Behram, Nariman's second brother, and his wife Banu loved Baba, his other brothers, Rustam and Hushang, their wives Feni and Havovi, and his mother were not yet Baba lovers. As I sat thinking, Baba looked straight into my eyes and with a smile gestured, "Don't worry, everything will be all right." Even though I seldom approached Baba with problems, he would often draw out of me or answer questions without having said a word. When Nariman's family once came to me for advice about their problems, I tried to impress upon them that only Baba could help them. They said they had no faith in him. Explaining that sincerity about wanting to solve their problems was all they needed, I suggested that they simply bow down to Baba and say, "Please, Baba, help us to do what is right." My heart told me that Baba would bring Nariman's family to him if they would just approach him now. They all came for a public darshan program, and then the first day went smoothly. Baba agreed to allow them to return 15 days later when he had planned a private darshan. The second day, Baba called only the family, and later he told Nariman, "Do you know that your brother Hushang was disrespectful and did not bow down to me today? I want you to scold him severely." Nariman was in anguish over Baba's orders to confront Hushang, whom he loved very much, and he was certain that his brother hadn't meant to be disrespectful. He told that perhaps Hushang didn't realize what he had done, but whether or not Hushang had been disrespectful was not the point. Baba wanted Nariman to scold him. I stated my conviction that Baba was working on his family to bring them to him, sorry, and that without another thought, Nariman should do what Baba wanted. Nariman went directly to the hotel where the family was staying and put on a strong display of anger. Hoshang was shocked. At first, he wasn't sure whether he had bored Baba or not, but he had certainly intended no disrespect. The more he thought about it, the more sure he was that he had bowed down. Nariman went on accusing him, asking him why he had come all the way from Bombay and then not bow down to Baba. Hoshang was left stunned and confused, almost to the point of tears. Nariman came back to Guru Prasad and told Baba what had taken place between them. My sister-in-law, Havavi, said later that Ashwang cried all the way back to Bombay and she was also very upset. Hussain kept saying he was quite sure he had bowed down and didn't understand why Baba would say that he hadn't. When Nariman and I discussed this situation, I suggested to him that he go to his brothers and their wives and tell them emphatically that he wanted them to respect Baba. I stayed on at Guru Prasad while Nariman went to Bombay. He was sure that Baba was working on his family, and where Baba's work was concerned, Nariman did not have second thoughts. He just acted. He was very firm with his family, and they in turn became even more upset. They thought Nariman was being unreasonable and they did not want to come again to Guru Prasad, even though they had previously promised they would. Despite their anger toward Nariman, however, they decided to keep their word. The family arrived in Pune thinking that this would be their last visit. After they had taken Baba's darshan, my sisters-in-law, Frenny and Havavi, asked me if they could talk with me before returning to Bombay. When we met later that evening, Baba had retired and began telling me everything that had happened in Bombay. Havavi said that if I had been there, I would never have allowed Nariman to talk to them the way he had. He had been quite unreasonable, so forceful that he had shocked them. They decided they did not want to have anything more to do with Baba and had come to Guru Prasad unwillingly and taken Baba's darshan simply to keep their promise. However, something truly amazing had happened. When they turned for darshan came, one by one they had reluctantly put their heads on Baba's feet, expecting to feel nothing. But as they bowed down to Baba, they were filled with love and compassion flowing from him, and all the anger they had toward Nariman dissolved. Smiling, I said to myself, Beloved Baba, you have done your work. I did not even hint that I had encouraged Nariman to admonish them. We found later that it was actually another member of the family who had not bowed down to Baba at the earlier darshan.
Wow. Okay, let's rotate
Yeah.
our
So,
reading. Yeah,
so
Sanjay, please.
Hoshang is the one who stays in Mumbai and his wife Avovi, right? This is
Is
the
that
same
the
couple, right?
Havovi who's
Yeah.
Yeah. His
is
Right.
wife,
Because
active now?
same
Kushang,
surname, same surname, Dadachanji.
Ah,
Dadachanji.
Nariman's
correct.
brother
Yes,
is
yes,
Nariman's
yes,
brother is Hoshan, and
yes, yes,
he
yes.
he keeps he was 1962 Saiwas lectures gave, but now he's too old to travel.
They still live there. They still
And,
live
yeah,
there.
yeah, they're still there in Mumbai, and
Mm.
So
they have their
Havovi that's
sons,
being
daughters,
referred
and
to.
granddaughter. It's a big family now.
Mm, mm.
Awobi's granddaughter also appears in some television ads also.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
how, His daughter got married to Rhoda's son.
Okay. Rhoda Dubash?
Rhoda's Rhoda. Yeah. What is
Dubash?
Rhoda's husband's
Rhoda and
name?
Adi.
Jim
No,
Mistry.
Havovi's daughter got married with Sarush, the older brother of, we saw it in the picture. Her
Yeah.
daughter
Rhoda's
got married with
Okay.
Sarush
Rhoda
because they
Mistry. Jim
both are
Mistry's.
Zoroastrian.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about Rhoda
And they've
Mistry.
got two daughters.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Rhoda Mistry. Jim Mistry's wife.
Yeah.
Rhoda Mistry.
Rhoda Mystery is Follows mother. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I thought we'll rotate the reading. So, anybody wants to take over? Mahu, are you in a position to read?
Yeah, I can read.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you,
From then on,
Ashok Ji Jai Baba.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
thanks for the opportunity.
From then on, all of Nariman's family, with the exception of his mother, began coming to Pune every summer and staying in a hotel in order to have as many opportunities as possible for beloved Baba's darshan. During the summer of 1962, after much persuasion, we even brought Nariman's mother to Pune for 3 months. She was still not interested in Baba, but we were sure that he would help her. Her life had been filled with suffering. She and Nariman's father had been separated for long periods of time. Years earlier, he had gone to Bombay in search of work. while she stayed in Karachi with her young sons. He had since died, and no matter how much Nariman and his brothers did for her, she could not find happiness. By this time, her mental health had deteriorated to the point where we thought she was losing her mind. In Pune, she became more and more confused. So we took her to see a psychiatrist. At first, she refused the medication he prescribed, but we finally coaxed her into taking it. Everyone was worried about her, but when I told Baba about her emotional problems, he only smiled knowingly. Her condition did not change until July, when we returned to Bombay, but as her state of mind improved, she began showing a real interest in Baba. 4 months later, in November of 1962, we all went to the East-West gathering at Guru Prasad. Nariman's mother participated willingly and happily. The love that she had developed for Baba and Mera within this short time amazed us. She was delighted when, for Mehra's birthday celebration in 1963, all the women in Nariman's and my family were invited to stay at Mehrazad for a few days. About 50 other women were invited to attend the birthday festivities, but they were to stay in Ahmednagar. Nariman's mother prepared for months ahead. She had a whole new set of clothes made to bring with her, and she was filled with joyful anticipation. Nariman and I went to Mehrazad a week before Mehra's birthday. At midnight, just a few hours after we left, Nariman's mother was taken to the hospital with kidney failure. The following morning, a telegram came saying that she was in critical condition. Nariman was with the men Mandali, but I was with Baba and the women having breakfast when Mani brought the telegram and read it aloud. Baba turned to me and said, "You won't go if she dies." He didn't say, "Don't go," but "You won't go." During the day, I did not see Nariman, but in the evening, after Baba had retired, I went to the men's side to be with him. I told him what Baba had said, that even if his mother were to die, we would not go to Bombay. The next morning, when word came that Nariman's mother had died, Baba called me from the women's side to join Nariman in Mandali Hall and said, "We will send a telegram to the family." Naturally, everyone would expect Nariman, as the oldest son and head of the family, to be present in Bombay. As Baba dictated, Erich wrote, "You represent Mama by being here with me." Then Baba stopped. He turned to the Mandali and asked, "Are these words all right?" Francis Barbazan, Baba's poet from Australia, replied that something didn't sound quite right. So Baba asked him, "Then what shall we write?" Francis reworded the message and the telegram was sent. Baba's first phrasing of the telegram had not been for those in Bombay, but for Nariman and me. In this way, he let us know how important it was for us to be at Mirazad with him when Nariman's mother died. Baba timed the situation in such a way that Banu, Fraini, and Havavi were able to be in Bombay for the Zoroastrian 4 days death ceremony, and then at Mirazad in time for Mehera's birthday celebration. In the midst of this joyful atmosphere, Nariman struggled quietly to contain his grief. He had loved his mother very much, and it was painful for him to remember her lifelong misery. No matter how hard he had tried, he had never been able to give his mother happiness. Baba, in his all-knowing compassion, came up to Nariman and took this burden from him, saying, "Don't worry, I will see to her happiness."
Okay, let's keep going. Any thoughts before we continue?
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to mention, it appears that it was critical that during the passing of Nariman's mother, Arnawaz and Nariman, to be in Merazad with Baba. I think Baba was getting some work done for her through Nariman and Arnawaz. So that's why he told them, "You're not going." So you see, we don't know how God-man works, but he was working.
Yeah, and with the background that the Hoshang was not coming to Baba earlier, and Baba made Nariman to shout at him, and slowly that relation developed for Hoshang to come to Baba, and Baba suddenly gives another shock treatment, right? And
Right.
that's for Hoshang to still love Baba. That is, he didn't allow his brother to come to him. So there are thresholds he puts on us. That's what I feel. Is you have to cross those barriers step by step and step. There, in a normal life, we don't transcend to those or do not assume that we can do something like that. With our assumptions are broken. With Baba's instructions. Other thing that is there is how Baba makes Nariman that okay, you love your mother, but yeah, I am the one you should love the most. Follow my instructions, and they, with Baba's blessing, obeyed him. This
Yeah.
is my take. huh? Slowly and slowly
See,
gives you those barriers, okay, mental
yeah,
blocks. And that's why when I tell my friends, Baba says I am God in human form. I think that's one kind of a threshold or a small barrier, you have to that not everybody comes to him. One has to evolve to a level that he is able to accept somebody as God and then come to Baba. You know, so if generally all saints, a lot of people just keep going and follow and this and that, but coming to Baba is somewhat different.
On that note, is that how you would introduce Baba to someone who asks, "Who is this?" when he sees a
Yes,
photograph of Baba with you?
yes,
I have a
I do,
question.
I
Okay.
do, I do. Baba has said that there is only one God, and he is the same one who came as Ramakrishna Buddha used to say. Oh, no. So it's, I mean,
Sure.
very few people able to understand this and
Digest that.
still talk on Baba and show their interest. Most of them will just fall off, and I think they will come 100 years or 200 years later when they get rewarded in that way. That's, that time has not yet come. So I'm not for the masses. I'm for the selected few. Baba has said, and we are fortunate that we are close to him. I mean, at least who were born when he was there, or we are just went with the monthly, spent time listening to them physically. And as the power of the scent that he has left is still very strong, and which over the 70, 100, 200 years will slowly fade away, and then the time would come for him to come back. Jai Baba.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
think
one
I
thing,
am a
one
little.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Mahu.
No, I'm saying it's a fine point here that we got to remember. In 1954, when Meher Baba issued the message, Meher Baba called, "Come on, all to me." When he issued that message, he invited every creature, every human from the universe, or maybe all the universes, to come to him. So that was his declaration, that was his order, and that never can be violated. His order is law, and nobody can violate law. So that goes. Anyway, so when we say I come to Baba or they come to Baba, that's, we got to be careful. It's not us who come to Baba. It's good to say, well, I met Baba, that. But it's him who come to us. He always come to us, always, always, always. It's just that at some point our consciousness get ready to open the door. When we open the door, like we go away a little bit, our false self, so we can see him and accept him, then that's where that connection revives, if we know him from the past, or if a connection begins if this is the first time we see him, and so forth. So because of that call, no doubt everybody will come to him. It's a matter of time. And as far as Havovi and Hoshang, they were actually our Sahaba's guest, 1996. Anyway, one of the reasons that they had a difficulty of accepting Baba as a God in human form is their Zoroastrian belief, especially Havovi. Now he's a devoted Baba, she's devoted Baba lover. They're always there at the Samadhi, Hoshang and Havovi. But she just could not accept God in human form. And obviously that influenced Hoshang as well. And that was their difficulty. That's why they had resistance, and they first rejected Baba and so forth, till Baba helped them, and finally they accept Baba. That's a little background on that.
Interesting. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
actually, we have 40 minutes odd left. So, let's rotate and give everyone a chance to read. So, Mahu, thank you for what you read, and maybe we move to the next person. Ravi, are
Sure.
you in a position to read? Thank you so much. Or Praveen.
I can read.
Right. Yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
can read. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, please.
Chapter 20. I have taken on the form of man to take on the suffering of man. When I had first met beloved Baba, his beauty was indescribable. In the early years, his eyes were like fiery, radiant pools, and as a teenager, I sometimes trembled after bowing down to him. Baba's entire physical form was expressive, his hands eloquently gesturing as if he were performing a dance. Sometimes, when I looked at him, I would feel that he looked like Jesus. Over the years, Baba's eyes changed, softening and shining with even more love and compassion, and his once graceful walk became labored. After the second accident, the doctors had not expected Baba to walk again. Although he did, walking was both difficult and painful for him. As more years went by, we could see Baba's tremendous universal suffering increasingly taking its toll on him physically. Despite what those of us closest to him saw in the privacy of Marathon or Guru Prasad, however, when our beloved Godman sat in his chair at the Darshan program, he appeared renewed, his face glowing. Those who had come for his darshan would never have guessed what agony we saw when he returned to his room afterwards, drawn and exhausted. At the time of his birthday in 1967, Baba was extremely restless. He was also experiencing a great deal of pain. During lunch on 24th February, he said, "My time has come. My time is very near." We were to hear Baba repeat these words frequently from then on. The following morning, his birthday, Baba was feeling quite low. Although he was although he was dizzy, he tried hard to appear cheerful as he wanted all of us to be happy. We placed the pink cake I had brought from Bombay before him. After lighting the candles and singing happy birthday to Baba, we read aloud all of many birthday telegrams he had received. We celebrated quietly in Mehrazad, but that evening, a big birthday program featuring Begum Akhtar on one of the most famous ghazal singers in India took place at Ahmednagar Baba Center. She had sung for Baba twice at Guru Prasad, and at her request, Baba allowed her to come to Mehrazad. We were happy to see the joy that her singing brought to Baba's face. Begum Akhtar was going to Mecca on a pilgrimage, and Baba asked her who would accompany her. When she told him she was going alone, Baba said, am I not going with you? He then gave her a handkerchief, asking her to place it on the Kaaba, the holy site of pilgrimage for all Muslims, and then bring it back to him. After returning from Mecca, she wrote a letter to Baba, sadly telling him that she had lost the handkerchief on the way there. Uh, Am I audible, Karthik?
Yeah. Please continue.
There's some disturbance. Okay.
We are able to
You
hear
get
you
me.
clearly.
On the
Others,
evening,
are you able to hear both of us?
No, maybe a pitch higher would be better.
sorry, okay, I will increase the pace. Sorry. On the evening of his birthday, after Baba had retired, the women gathered in the sitting room, and drift- our conversations drifted to Jesus. We discussed books such as The Robe, The Emperor's Physician, and The Great Fisherman. I remembered Baba once saying that Jesus had also broken a hip, but not in an accident. Jesus had made his disciples break his hip with a big stone. And at that time, when Baba was sitting on his bed before supper, looking very tired and helpless, he told us that Jesus had been crucified once, but he was being crucified every moment. Seeing Baba's suffering made our own sin insignificant. Sorry. Seeing Baba's suffering made our own sin insignificant. When we went to Mehrazad, Nariman and I would greet Baba together in Mandali Hall, and he always inquired about Nariman's business and our health. Once Baba asked Nariman, who was suffering from the after effects of surgery for glaucoma, how is your eye? Nariman replied, Baba, Baba, just the same. The strain and gritty feeling are still there. Baba said, I worry about your eye. So does Mehra. She keeps asking me to relieve your pain as you are so important to me. But what are these eyes? When I open your third eye, it will be beyond your conception. Baba then turned added, added, asked about my chronic cold and rheumatic pain. I smiled and said, Baba, it is gone and it is gone. It's the same.
It
No,
goes on. It goes
It goes
on.
Baba,
on.
It's
it
not
goes
gone. It
on.
goes on.
It goes on.
Continue.
Baba, it goes on. It's the same. Then Baba said, I suffer so much and I give you just a few drops. You are very fortunate. Baba's words reminded me of the time one of his close ones in Bombay in an outburst of love said, Baba, why don't you give me some of your suffering? Later I said to her, do you realize what you are asking for? We are not capable of enduring even an iota of Baba's burden. I also I also remembered a lover once asking to keep silence in order to help Baba in his silence. Baba replied, my 1 second of silence is equivalent to your 100 years of keeping silence. During the last years, when Baba was no longer giving darshan programs, he did not conceal his suffering, and all those around him looked for ways to distract him from his pain and entertain him, often by reading to him. One story from Reader's Digest that particularly struck me concerned an artist who wanted to paint Jesus as a child. He found a beautiful young boy for a model and completed the painting. Many years later, the artist was looking for a model, this time to portray Judas. After a long search, he found in a tavern a miserable looking man dressed in tattered clothes. This man agreed to pose for, for the artist because he needed money. But in the end, when he was paid, he began to cry. The artist asked him what was wrong, and the man replied, I am crying because you have painted me as Judas, but as a small boy, I was your model when you painted the Christ child. Papa, obviously touched by this story, said Judas loved Jesus very much. If there had been no Judas, there would be no Jesus. Jesus, being the God man, was the highest of the high, yet he needed others to play certain roles for his work to be done. Judas had to act as he did in order that Jesus be crucified and suffer for humanity.
Judas, I think, betrayed Jesus, and according to
Yes, yes.
the
In his last.
history. Yeah, yeah. Okay, again, short rotations today, short reading opportunities so that everybody gets a chance, and just trying to do the best. Uh, you want to rotate
Just a
again?
small conversation.
Sure,
Yes.
please.
Just a small conversation. The earlier paragraph, there was a reference to Begamatha.
Yes,
I think Begamatha was called the Queen of Ghazals in India. Like
correct.
she was a great ghazal singer. I was recently looking at one of the videos which Avatar Meherbaba's Lucknow Center has uploaded. They were giving all the references or all the references of Baba visiting, when he visited Lucknow and all the links between Baba and Lucknow. And there they mentioned about Begum Akhtar because I think she had her tomb is in Lucknow. She had decided she was born somewhere in UP. I don't know exactly where, but she stayed almost her life in Lucknow mostly. So it seems that Begum Akhtar initially, like in 1930s and all, was called by Aditya Rani, like on Baba's instruction to sing for Baba, and she refused. Like she was asking for a payment, hefty payment, and Adi was saying that he will arrange for the up and down journey, but he can't do anything. She denied, she said no, she wanted some payment. So Baba said to Baba then informed Adi that you don't worry, she will one day come back to me. You don't worry now. So they dropped that idea. But later in 60s, I think she herself really came to Baba to sing for him, and she pleaded to sing before him. And the first song that she sang for the ghazal she sang for Baba is one of her most famous ghazal that I Mohabbat uh, tere, matlab, that was one of the greatest
तेरे
song like
अंजाम पे
being
रोना आया.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tere
I am
Anjam Pe
मोहब्बत
Rona
तेरे
Aaya.
अंजाम पे.
ए मोहब्बत तेरे अंजाम पे रोना है वो that's that and she sang one those some two to three ghazals and she was continuously crying all the time that she was singing. I think this happened in May 60s too, or sometime it should be. This was happening, and I think from then she would have completely turned towards Baba. I just remember this story of her.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. But I'm super disappointed she missed the opportunity of giving the handkerchief back to Baba. There must have been some significance to
No,
Baba's
no,
request.
I think Baba's intention was to leave it there, probably.
No, but it didn't get there. So if you look at her letter, it says that she lost it on the way up there. So she didn't take it to Kaaba. Anyway, small detail. Good.
Okay. I thought
Thanks for
that she would have
sharing.
taken and could bring back. Probably something would have happened in that way.
Okay.
Because I don't think that that these things happens anything something can happen which Baba didn't wish. I don't think that something could happen in that way. It would have reached the place that it would have reached.
True.
And
That's
we are speaking
as
of the
well correct.
1967. Sorry.
No, that's true as well. You're so right.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is the year 1967, and Baba would have known that his manifestation is going to be somewhere nearer, and probably this is one of the transformation. But because Baba said that like it was Muhammad's rule until then reign, and his manifestation starts from the time that he drops his body. So there should be some relevance, some spiritual relevance or importance to it, uh, something somewhere. We can't think and we can't understand as well.
True. Um, rotating the
So can I
reading,
continue?
Ravi or Sanjay ji. Yeah, thank you so much, Praveen.
Yeah, I can read.
Go ahead for another 10 minutes and then me and Sanjay will wrap up.
Okay.
Oh,
Jebak.
there's only one more of us. One of us. Okay. Go ahead.
When someone was reading aloud, Baba was very particular that everyone listen intently to the story. He wanted everyone's attention on a single focal point, and he always knew if someone's concentration had drifted. Baba would snap his fingers and say, "Listen to the story. Don't let your thoughts wander." Sometimes Baba would lie down on his bed while Mani read a story to him. He would appear to have fallen asleep, and we would sometimes even hear him snoring. As soon as Mani stopped reading, however, Baba would say, "Why have you stopped? I am listening. Go on." Other times we felt that Baba's attention was far away, that there was something else on his mind. Looking at his eyes, we would feel that he wasn't there with us and he was elsewhere. Even then, if Mani stopped reading, Baba would say, "Go on, I'm listening." When Time magazine arrived each week, it was Reno that only one of the American women Mandali living at Mehrajad who read it loud to Baba over a period of 2 or 3 days. Baba's favorite reading material, however, was the detective story. He particularly liked the novels of Edgar Wallace and Nero Wolfe series by Rex Stout. Reno was reading an Edgar Wallace story to Baba one morning while I was messaging him. After lunch, we reassembled in Baba's room, and Mani began to read a Nero Wolfe story, which she continued reading after dinner. I suddenly wondered what had happened to a character named Thomas. So I asked. Reno said, "Oh, Arnawaz, you are confused. Thomas is in my book, not in Mani's." Hearing two murder mysteries at the same time and switching from one to the other was too much for me. Baba enjoyed the joke and laughed silently, gesturing and smiling, his eyes full of mischief. It was a joy to see his suffering alleviated even for a moment. On 31st January 1968, an important event took place that indicated some of the dramatic changes that were to come. Beloved Baba called all the men Mandali from Mehrabad and a few intimate ones from Ahmednagar together with those who were living at Mehrajat. The men filed past Baba, who was seated on the front veranda of the main house with Mehra standing at his side. Following Baba's order, she folded her hands and said Jai Baba to each man, and each said Jai Baba to her in return. This was the first time that Mehra had greeted male Baba lovers. To prepare her for greeting these men, Baba had previously introduced her to Dr. Hurricane Moore, who was blind. In the past, Mehra had been kept in strict seclusion in the early days from even seeing men or hearing their voices. Now, through this brief meeting with men, Baba was preparing Mehra for what she would face later. Though at this time she had no way of knowing what the future held for her. I remember I was reading the book Harry. The book Harry is about Hurricane Moore, written by his a couple, forgot the names. But one instant where Hurricane Moore was giving physical therapy to Baba, and Baba calls Mehra, and Baba asks Hurricane Moore to say prayers. And when Hurricane Moore said the prayers, Mehra started crying. He says with such a devotion, I believe, that Mehra starts crying. That I remember.
Wow, interesting. So let's continue. I was
Yes,
just reminded of the date. Those of you didn't notice, it's 31st January 1968,
68. Yeah,
exactly a
Yeah,
year
great
before.
question.
Yes. Yeah.
exactly 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 year before.
Even
Yes.
Uh,
Karthik, I did realize, but I just thought I think I thought everybody would have realized, because this is also mentioned elsewhere that Baba had taken steps to introduce Mehra 1 year. Uh, I think we read somewhere else as well.
because
Great.
Bao culture in many of his he clearly mentioned it is exactly 1 year before he introduced Mehra. But, I heard it in many of his talks actually the same thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue. 1 second. I'll just make a note of this. Yeah. This is where
where were
we
you?
are, right? Yes. Yeah. 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 Baba went into.
So Baba went into deeper seclusion in 1968, and although he went to Guru Prasad for the summer months as usual, not even the very intimate ones in Pune were allowed to see him, nor were the Mandali allowed to leave Guru Prasad. For a few hours in the morning, Baba would sit alone in his bedroom in a big chair, which no one except Mehra was allowed to touch. He would hit his thighs until they were black and blue. He said his universal work was so heavy at that time that he was using the pain to keep himself connected to the gross world. Every day, Baba listened to the songs of Jim Reeves, especially Diamond in the Sky, and There is a Heartache Following Me. Baba said they were great. These were great. Yeah.
No, there was great pathos. Yeah.
Dard, pathos in Jim Reeves' voice. Dard, dard,
Dard here means pain in
Pain.
Farsi. Yeah.
dard in Hindi. It's dard. Yeah. And these songs help to relieve the strain of his work. Wow.
As a
During his
kid who was probably
Yes,
7 or 8,
yes.
I remember hearing about Jim Reeves and his songs. And I don't know, maybe that's where I
It's a
heard,
very
by the
beautiful
way.
song.
Yeah, yeah. I have not
It's a
heard
very
these songs,
beautiful.
by the way. Okay,
I'll post it.
sure.
Mm. During this period, Baba sent a circular to his lovers all over the world saying that he wanted them to repeat the Parvardigar prayer and prayer of repentance audibly once a day for the months of April, May, and June. Twice every day, Baba would have these prayers said, once by the men mandali and once by the women. Baba joining in both times during to his intensely heavy work and the constant pounding on his thighs. Baba had become very frail and weak. He sometimes supported himself on the arms of the men on either side of him in order to remain standing through the prayers. Once, when Baba couldn't stand alone, the Mandali suggested that he sit down, but Baba said, continue the prayers. After they were finished, Baba said, by my standing and participating in these prayers, all these who say them after I drop my body will be greatly benefited. When I was told about Baba's words, I felt he was giving an indirect order to repeat the prayers regularly. And from that time on, I have done so daily.
Okay, I noticed one word here. Baba says, uh, do it audibly. So, just a personal question: how many of you do it audibly, and how many of you do it in just a mental reading? I started unconsciously doing it audibly about a year or maybe a couple of years back, and I stick to that loudly and audibly wherever I am. So I don't know. But this is the first time I'm noticing his instruction.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
just a
I was also
personal question on others. What do you think?
exactly. I was also just struck
Yeah.
by this word audibly because I have been doing audibly all the while, except from last 3 to 4 months. 3 4 months, I think. I started doing like in the puja at
Mentally.
home. Uh, yeah, I stopped uttering it outside. I don't know why it happened and all, but it had happened all of a sudden.
Yeah, I heard one Eretz talk when he says the prayer has to be read out loudly.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I have always done speaking the prayer. Yeah.
Okay, okay, good.
Probably this is a message we get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
There is
get
a
back to
That's what Baba
audibly.
actually did.
there
Yeah,
is a
actually,
Eretz
that's what I
talk. Yeah, in the Monday Hall talk, there is a Eretz talk where he talks about the prayers and the importance of prayer. And there was a time that Baba was in such a pain in the later years, and he wanted Dheeraj to read the prayer faster and faster and
Quickly.
faster.
Yes, yes.
Then
yes,
he busted into a laughter, and then Baba told that, "Why did you do that?" And then he said the importance of the prayers. Yeah, Baba.
Mm.
I remember the incident why I stopped it. Yes, this there was a message. I think in this group itself, someone has shared a talk or a message, written message, in which Baba has given an explanation of why people uh, 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 like speak loudly when they're angry. Though the person whom they're angry on will be just
Mm.
besides them, we speak very loudly, like how you speak when you are angry.
Anger. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he has given that explanation. Like, so
Yeah, yeah.
when we are,
That's a different story. Why we keep silence? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
different story. Yeah, but yeah,
So
good.
actually, I think from that, after reading that message, I don't know. It has become unconscious that unconsciously I developed this of doing prayers within, like not loudly, but within myself. That's what I remember. Yeah.
I think rest of the time we can keep remembering his name in our heart, but just the prayers we
Yeah.
must say loudly. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I think so too. Okay. Last rotation. Sanjay ji, if you're in a position to read, why don't you read for the last 10 minutes?
My background would be very loud. There is sort of rain happening, tipper tapper. So I think it's best that
Nice,
you read.
nice sunai
Yeah,
de raha hai, nice sunai de raha hai, but I will read
yeah,
then the last 10
yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Thank
Better
you
you
so
read.
much.
Yeah, that will be
Yeah,
I,
better.
Thank you so much, Raviji, Jai Baba, and I will just read for the last 10 minutes. Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.
I can also read. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. And in October, I'll finish, Praveen. It's okay. In October, Baba called lovers in charge of Baba centers from all over India to Mehrazad to discuss the arrangements for the darshan he was planning to give at Guru Prasad during the summer of 1969. Later, Nariman and I were also called to make arrangements for an entirely different program to be held in December to celebrate Mehra's birthday. At the same time, Baba would perform the Navjot of four children, Hoshang's daughter Mehruk and his son Rayomand, my brother Dara's son Nozer, and my cousin Dolly Dastur's niece Mehernaz. The final part of the program would be the engagement and wedding of Baba's nephew Dara, Adi Jr.'s son, and Shatrughan Kumar's daughter Amrut from Dehradun. While we were there, Baba said to us, henceforth, you don't need to tell or ask me anything. I will give you internal guidance. Baba had previously told Erich and Mani to reply to letters from Baba lovers without asking him what they should write. Beloved Baba was preparing us for the time when he would no longer be with us in the physical body. In the third week of November, Baba's health began to fail rapidly. Early in December, when he heard that Erich's uncle had been given a blood transfusion, Baba said, Meherji Mama was given a blood transfusion, so why am I not given one? Baba was given two transfusions, and we later learned that the blood had come from a farmer. His condition did not improve, however, and he only grew weaker as the December program approached, showing little interest in his surroundings. As usual, we women gathered around Baba in his bedroom in the mornings when he would often listen to his favorite ghazals on the radio. One morning, Mani thought of playing the record Precious Lord, which she knew he liked. Baba was sitting on the edge of his bed with his feet resting on a cushion on the floor. As I watched beloved Baba listening to the words, I am tired, I am weary, I am worn, I felt as though he himself were singing these words to convey to us what he was going through. Because Baba also wanted his men Mandali to know the intensity of his suffering, he told Mani to type the words of Precious Lord. And he gave a copy to each of the men, including Nariman. Baba then told Mani to carry the gramophone to Mandali Hall, where the record was played that afternoon in his presence. The atmosphere was heavy with beloved Baba's suffering, his helplessness and hopelessness. As God man, he seemed to be beseeching God infinite to release him from the tremendous burden he had carried during his physical lifespan, a burden that now appeared to be beyond his endurance. Not only was our darling Baba suffering from the physical pressures of his last universal work, but he also had to bear his knowledge of the agony all his Mandali and lovers, especially his beloved Mehra, would have to endure without him after he dropped his body. Baba carried this heavy cross alone. We could not fathom the weight of his load. On 22nd December, Mehra's birthday was celebrated along with the Navjot of the four children and the engagement of Dara and Amrit. After about 200 Baba lovers were seated in the garden, Baba was brought in a wheelchair to the veranda of the main bungalow. I put Mehra's birthday cake with its single candle on a trolley and took it to Baba, who smiled and touched the cake, which was later distributed to the guests. The four children then brought to stand before Baba for the Navjot. their parents standing behind them. Baba's message to the children, once again stressing that he had come to free us from religious ceremonies, was read out. Religious ceremonies, instead of freeing one from Maya, keep one firmly bound to Maya. I have come to make people do away with ceremonies. God can be attained only through love. Therefore, love me more and more until you know who I am.
Jai Baba
Oh,
Karthik,
yeah.
this Dara and Amrit are the same Dara and Amrit we meet when we go to the Samadhi.
Yes, yes, yes,
Maybe
yes,
you,
yes.
yeah, yeah,
There is
of
a video
course.
also available of this their ceremony at
Function,
Marathon.
yes, the wedding.
Yes, yes, yeah, the wedding ceremony. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
same
yes.
picture. Satyapati Kumar's daughter.
Okay, on that, yeah, I'll continue. Following the Navjot, Dara and Amrit's engagement took place. Oh, it's the engagement, not the wedding, sorry. Following the
Okay.
Navjot, Dara and Amrit's engagement took place, Baba held the rings before they placed them on one another's fingers, and they garlanded and embraced him before returning to their seats. After the engagement, Baba remained seated on the veranda while everyone took darshan, filing past him at a distance with folded hands. A brief entertainment followed with some dancing and several funny songs specially for him. Baba said to all those present, my time has come, my time is near, my work is done. You who are here are very, very fortunate because you see me sitting in front of you. At the Pune Darshan in April, you won't be able to see me like this. Baba gestured with his hand from head to foot. When Baba said this, I imagined there would be such a rush in Pune that all those who had been with Baba for many years would be at the back in order to give a chance to the newcomers. Baba then went to his bedroom while Mehra stayed with the guests in the garden. After some time, he called me to his bedroom and asked whether Mehra was enjoying herself and was happy. Baba knew Mehra was concerned that he was not well. I assured him that all those around Mehra were keeping her company. Lying on his bed, beloved Baba gestured for me to come forward so that he could give me an embrace, which in those days, due to his frail health, was a rare treasure. The next day, 23rd December, was the marriage of Dara and Amrit. They had a civil ceremony at Vilu Villa, Saros's home, after which Baba sent the De Soto to bring them to Mehrazad. Amrit and Dara sat on the veranda in two chairs waiting for Baba. When he was brought out in the wheelchair, he again held their rings before they placed them on one another's fingers. After they had garlanded Baba, he gestured to the pile of garlands at his feet, brought to him by his lovers, and told Dara and Amrit to garland each other. All those present again filed past Baba for his darshan, and following entertainment and refreshments, they left, bringing the last darshan in Baba's physical presence to an end. A few guests, including Nargis and Amrit's parents, stayed over for a few days. Then Baba said to Nariman and me, let all the guests go, but I want you to stay. On New Year's Day, we had hoped to cheer Baba up, to make him a little more lively and happy, but we did not know how to bring a smile to his face. Everyone was depressed until Mani thought of the new tape recorder which had just been given to Baba, and she brought it to his room so that he could hear some of his favorite ghazals. Baba's face had been pale, but when he heard the music, his color changed a little. Since it was chilly, Mehra had placed a bright shawl knitted in the rainbow colors of Baba's flag on his lap and over his feet. Suddenly, we saw the big toe of Baba's right foot peek out from under the shawl, keeping time to the music. For a moment, our hearts swelled, seeing beloved Baba's temporary relief. However, it lasted only as long as the music was playing. Sarosh Irani's son-in-law, Dr. Hirji Adinwala, was in Ahmednagar at the time, having come for Dara and Amrit's wedding. Gohar was so desperate that she wrote a note asking him to come the following day to see Baba, despite the fact that he had not allowed her to consult other doctors about his present condition. Hirji came to Mehrazad as soon as he received the note, arriving in the evening after Baba had retired. He had not come to examine Baba at that time, but only to discuss with Gohar every detail of Baba's symptoms. Dr. Hirji Aidenwala is the Dr. Aidenwala that we ran into, or the family that we ran into in Kunur, me and Kama. So we accidentally found the family residence of the Aidenwalas in Kunur, get crashed into their house, and had a lovely conversation. Kama was invited for tea subsequently, but he's a very, very reputed doctor in the South. And I think he's award winning as well. He's done a lot of work for pediatric care. Uh, and yeah, that was just another Baba Kama
Where is
story.
this country?
Kunur, Uti. Kunur is
Ooty.
near Uti in the hills on the Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu, near
Yeah.
Coimbatore. Okay, anyway, I think I just realized we have gone out of time, over time. I'll stop at this point. Any thoughts before we wrap up?
So yeah, just that I posted the song,
Great.
three songs actually of Jim Reeves, two songs of Jim Reeves.